So 4 IPOs hitting the market this week, huh? Sounds like a busy week for investors. What's your take on this flurry of activity?
A whirlwind, my friend, a total whirlwind. It's like the stock market decided to throw a massive party and everyone's invited, except maybe those who missed the last few IPOs.
Speaking of which, how did those last few IPOs perform? I heard some crazy numbers.
Crazy is an understatement. MobiKwik, Vishal Mega Mart, and Sai Life Sciences oversubscribed like crazy. The gray market buzz was insane.
So, what's the big draw this week? Any IPOs you're particularly eyeing?
Ventive Hospitality definitely caught my eye. Blackstone and Punchal Realty backing it? That's a heavyweight combination.
Blackstone and Punchal, you're right, that's a big name. But a Rus 1600 crore IPO, that's a hefty sum. What's the plan with all that money?
Mostly debt repayment, it seems. A hefty chunk going towards that. The rest for general corporate purposes. Sounds like they're cleaning house before the big party.
Makes sense. Get the books in order before the public gets involved. Any red flags you see?
Not immediately obvious, but always do your own research, right? Never rely on just one opinion, especially mine.
Wise words. Always good to be cautious. Let's move on to the next one. Transrail Lighting, power transmission and distribution. Sounds like a solid sector.
It is. Essential services are always a good bet. But this one's a mixed bag. Fresh issue and an offer for sale. Interesting mix.
A pre-IPO placement too, I saw. They raised some money beforehand. Smart move.
Absolutely. Helps build confidence. Shows they're not just throwing darts at a board. It's a calculated risk.
So, what's your gut feeling on Transrail?
Cautiously optimistic. The sector is strong, but the details matter. Always check the fine print.
Mamata Machinery and Dam Capital Advisors. Two very different beasts. One makes machines, the other, well, it's an investment bank.
Exactly. Mamata is all about the manufacturing side. Pouches, bags, packaging. It's a fundamental part of the economy.
And Dam Capital, a boutique investment bank going public. That's a first, isn't it?
It is. A pure play boutique investment bank IPO. That's a story in itself. I'm curious to see how that one performs.
Me too. It'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to a different kind of IPO.
Absolutely. It's a test of the market's appetite for something a bit different.
So, overall, what's your feeling about the IPO market right now? Is it a buyer's market, a seller's market, or something in between?
It's definitely buzzing, a lot of activity, but it's not a free for all. You still need to do your homework.
Absolutely. Due diligence is key, no shortcuts.
Exactly. And remember, past performance is not indicative of future results. That's a golden rule.
So true. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners before they dive into this week's IPOs?
Diversify, my friend. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Good advice. Let's talk about risk. What are some of the biggest risks investors should be aware of when considering these IPOs?
Market volatility is always a factor. The overall economic climate plays a huge role. And of course, the company's financials need careful scrutiny.
And what about the potential for overvaluation? We saw some crazy valuations in the past.
That's a real risk. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but always look at the fundamentals. Don't let emotions cloud your judgment.
So, how do you balance the potential for high returns with the inherent risks?
So it's all about risk management. Diversification, thorough research, and a long-term perspective are crucial.
Speaking of strategy, what's your approach to investing in IPOs? Do you have a specific strategy you follow?
I look for companies with strong fundamentals, a clear growth trajectory, and a solid management team. And I always diversify my portfolio.
And what about the timing? Is there a particular time of year or market condition that you prefer to invest in IPOs?
There's no magic formula. It's more about finding the right opportunity at the right price. Timing is important, but fundamentals are paramount.
So it's not about chasing the hype, but about finding undervalued gems?
Exactly. It's about finding companies with long-term potential not just short term gains.
So let's talk about due diligence. What are some of the key things investors should look for when researching an IPO?
Financial statements are crucial. Look at revenue growth, profitability, and debt levels. Also, pay attention to the management team's experience and track record.
And what about the company's competitive landscape? Is it important to understand the industry it operates in?
Absolutely. Understanding the competitive landscape is essential. Look at market share, barriers to entry, and potential threats.
So it's not just about the company itself, but also the industry it's in?
Exactly. The industry context is just as important as the company's individual performance.
So we mentioned the gray market earlier. What's your take on the gray market premium? Is it a reliable indicator of future performance?
It can be a useful indicator, but it's not foolproof. It reflects market sentiment, but it doesn't guarantee future success.
So it's just one piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture? That was a great discussion. Thanks for sharing your insights.